Greetings, listeners, and welcome to The Spiritual Experience, a show where we share stories of life, love, and redemption for all of humanity on Earth. So sit back and enjoy. Try to identify with the speakers and not compare. Don't forget to subscribe on all podcast platforms. I'm your host, Jay Lewis, and here we go. Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back, Spiritual Experience. You know the deal. Like and subscribe on all podcast platforms. Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Audible. It's like, yeah, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I could honestly care less about the Super Bowl. If you held a gun to my head and asked me who's playing, I know like the Eagles are playing. And I only know that because I saw it somewhere on social media. I don't follow football. I follow UFC and boxing. And that's it, really. You know, but I do have a couple of those boxes. I think I have 2 boxes. Yeah, so maybe I'll win some money. But I don't even, like, how little I know about that kind of stuff is that I don't even know if I have good numbers or bad numbers. I don't even know. But whatever. And look, and I think it's just like part of, you know, I think it's part of like who we are as like Americans. You know, we have our own game, football, I don't know. People, I'm sure they're going to check me on this. Football, basketball, definitely baseball is an American sport. You know, some people may say, oh, football came from rugby and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, dog, I don't know. It's almost like I can't really get involved. Like I'm such a slow, sluggy turtle to like evolve. So I can't really get involved as the game started evolving, where I know I can look at a game and know exactly what's going on. Only because I used to play football. I know all the positions, and I didn't play for that long. I think I played for like 4 years in junior high school. I was 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I played 3 years, but I played, putting on pads, smacking people around. That was, I did it. You know, I know how to run plays. I know how to, I know how to do all that stuff. And I got, in my day, they used to call it burn. You're not getting no burn. That means like playing time. And, and life was rougher. The league was rougher. Rules were rougher. Like now, it's crazy, you know. And that's the thing. The other thing is that, like, I think we're becoming a lot more health conscious and that kind of stuff. And there's always people who are going to really resist that, you know. They really are going to resist it. There's a couple of things I'm going to play today that really made me laugh, because it was like going around and I was freaking dying. Like I was dying. So I don't even know if I can kind of cue it up. No, that one's no good. That one's no good. Yeah. Oh, here we go. I'll see if I get this to play now. It's fucking hilarious. This is from the 80s. Hold on.
The attempt to here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
Well, any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is...
Yeah, so that was like a real news clip from like the 1980s, which was, I can't even fathom now. Like people like, oh no, you can't What do you mean? You're supposed to be allowed to drink and drive. Like, it's okay. And I think that those people, they knew what they knew, and who likes change? Nobody likes change. We like the results maybe of change, which is that if any of those people in that interview or whatever, and that was like live on the news. That wasn't like bullshit. They're like, we're going to turn into communists. It's communism. They're telling you what to do, And, but if one of their kids got run over by a drunk driver and was in a fucking wheelchair, maybe they'd think different, And sometimes that's what it takes. And for some people, that's what it takes. It takes them to have to learn, like it has to touch them. It has to touch them. And then the rest of, I'm not going to say us, because there is no us and them. It's just always like we, for me, in a lot of ways. But, shouting at them, calling them stupid and calling them slow and calling them names, I think is like very counterproductive. And I try not to do that. I have the hardest time, obviously. I tell you guys all the time with my kids. I don't really, and I don't shout at them. But, I think really it's a tie between me loving them dearly and also me not wanting to fucking clean up after them. Like, I know this car wreck is coming. And I'm going to be the one that has to sweep up after you wreck this thing, because I know where this road leads. And then you just be like, nah, you know better. I'm like, all right. Yeah, so I think part of it is self-preservation. The other part is love. And it's all honesty. Because I'd be like, yo, dog, life can be however you want it to be. If you're willing, if you're willing to, I guess, change. Similar to like the football analogy, where like now, these guys are studying them. They all got, CTE and whatever. Eventually, as a species, we might evolve into a place where nobody's going to be getting hit in the head. I've been hit in the head a lot. I mean, I don't know a lot, maybe. A lot compared to who? There are people. It's funny. I used to talk about this with my sponsor, my old sponsor, Free Willy. Shout out to him. But I used to be like, dude, there are people who've never been to jail. Like, not once. Like, never been locked up, never been in the back of the police car, never been punched in the face, never been kicked in the head by a non-family member. And, so everybody has their own experience. And I have to remember to respect and understand that. I was talking about the other day, like, understanding is not the same thing as condoning. Like, where can I learn to understand other people and let them have their own experience? And I don't even have to be involved. There can be like limitations, especially with family members. Oh my God. It's different when it comes to, I guess, social media, Facebook, whatever. Like, people's Facebook feed is similar to like real life. Like, it could be however you want it to be. Like, my Facebook feed is full of stuff that I like. And there's not a lot of stuff on there that I don't like. I don't scroll through it all the time. I see stuff at anything that I see, I just like it. Because, like, whatever, in my brain, I'm like spreading love, But, it's things that I like. So even in my real life, it's going to be things that I like. And I don't necessarily have to agree with everything. Look, I have a lot of friends and a lot of family members that are all over the spectrum as far as their belief in how to live a life. I have a cousin. I'm not going to say his name because then maybe he won't come to my wedding. And I'm always down for the envelopes. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, I remember when Trayvon was like bumping the whole thing. And I think the whole thing was fucked up, right? I'm on Team Trayvon's fucking side, you know? This guy, he's an animal. If you ask me, he's an animal, you know? And there are so many people who took that, who took that level of stupidity and then turned it into like, they're going to take all our guns. But nobody's taking away anything. But this guy, he didn't have the right to follow the kid. He definitely didn't have a right to kill him. You know, even the kid was kicking his ass. Bro, if you get your ass kicked, you get it kicked. You know, you're out there being where you shouldn't be and doing what you shouldn't be doing. Now that little video that goes around, like the more you fuck around, the more you find out, like that's very true. And, you know, he found out the hard way, you know, and then he killed this kid, man. Like Trayvon wasn't going to beat him to death. People say, you don't know that. You don't know he was defending his life. Like, bro, no, it's not his job. He went looking for trouble. Anyway, so I have a cousin who is so entrenched in that thing of like lack of empathy is really what it is. Lack of empathy. And I'm like, bro, he has a son that was like around the same age. I said, dude, what if that was your son? And his son is, you know, a little bit of a hothead. But he's a good enough. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's learning. Everybody's learning at their own time, at their own pace. And anyway, I was like, what about your son? Do you think he deserved to die? And that was just putting the truth on. And he was so entrenched in his belief that he was just like, yeah, if my son is kicking somebody's ass, that guy could shoot my kid. And I'm like, dude, we're going to have to agree to disagree, my friend. You know, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Not in that circumstance. Now, you know, if your son is the instigator looking for trouble, whatever, then you get what you get. That's what I believe. You get what you get. You know, and maybe if I ask him now about it, maybe he softened up a little bit, and then maybe he'll think differently, you know? And I don't have to be like, oh, I freaking told you so. You know, I don't have to be like that. I love to be like that, but I can be like that on the inside if it comes, you know, because people know. Like, they already know I told them. Why do I have to throw it in their freaking face? That's all ego for me, which I'm trying to suppress. I have an instinct to be the exact opposite way that I am. Not the exact opposite. But a lot of this is what I think. I think that I used to believe that I would, you know, I used to believe I would get what I want by doing things a different way, which is I just wanted compliance. You know, that's what I thought I wanted. I wanted everybody to just be like, okay, yeah, you're right. You know, and I never made more enemies in my life. I wouldn't say enemies, but like, you're not making any friends living and doing and being like that. You know, maybe just sharing your experience, let them share theirs. Maybe you learn something. And that was the thing. It was all about the maybes. You know, all about the maybes. So maybe we'll evolve. We'll evolve into, you know, maybe not crashing into each other on a football field, creating like all of these things. You know, that CTE shit is fucking real, bro. It really is. It's freaking real. And fighters get it. I don't know. In my life, maybe I've sparred. I don't know. Could you even put a number? 1,000 rounds, which is not really a lot. Maybe 5,000 rounds. I don't know. I sparred a lot when I was a kid. Not a kid growing up. Yeah, spar a lot. I fought in the street a little bit. Not that much. I mean, I did. I guess compared to whom? I fought enough for myself. Look, I had a detached retina from somebody smashing my friggin' face. And I got hit in the side of the head one time with a rock, dude. Oh, my God, this guy fucking... And I saw it coming, and there was nothing I could do. I was like, oh, man, this guy, he picked up a rock that was holding up like a... what do you call it? A mailbox. Picked up a rock that was like at the bottom of the mailbox. And I'm watching him walk towards me to hit me with it. But I was already in the scuffle with somebody else. And, and he hit me right on the side of my fucking head, bro. And I fell on the ground. And then he helped his friend up. And then they ran away, because, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I got a little bit of humble pie that day. I don't mind, I don't think I've ever hit anybody with a rock. I've hit people with things, but not like rocks. But yeah, so that, So what I'm saying is that it's only now with, CT or TBI, traumatic brain injury, whatever. It's like not all of these, crashes on the football field or being knocked unconscious or whatever. Apparently, you can get CTE from riding jet skis. Yeah, but brain is not supposed to be bounced around in your fucking head. So anything could happen. And so there's a camp of people that think like, oh, this is like barbaric and stupid and whatever. And there's other people who can't be like, who are, enabled to say, listen, this is dangerous stuff, but I love it. And I love that it's part of our heritage. I love that it's part of our country. We, quote unquote, invented this game. Like people are, so unwilling to have two things be true at the same time. Listen, I think people should be able to carry whatever weapons if they want. I think you should be able to do that. It's your right. If you want to carry a weapon, that's your right. How you get that weapon, I have an opinion on. How easy it is for you to get it. There's more guns than people in this country, But yet again, Zimmerman's still walking around. If I had terminal 4 cancer, whatever, and I knew I was going to die in a month, I might do some people some favors. I was thinking about that, like if I wanted a favor done, I wish I could find somebody who was in that stage of life and say, okay, listen, this is the situation. And, and they'll be like, you know what? Life isn't fair, but I'm going to be the equalizer. And I would, I'd give it some thought. I really would. But I don't even know if killing Zimmerman, that might make him more infamous than that poor boy Trayvon, man. And everybody's like the judge. I saw this thing, and again, most of it is really like online, so I don't know if it's in real life. But I watch that sometimes. Like I'm part of some of these Facebook groups, and I see people virtue signaling by like piling on other people for no reason, literally no reason, just to see where the chips fall, and they want to be on the right side of that. Is like, there was this lady who put in like, who just kind of told the story or whatever in this neighborhood group that I'm in. And I don't really participate too much in them, but you know, sometimes it's entertaining a little bit to me to see how fake and how feeble people are. So the lady was talking about, like, listen, my daughter just came from this avenue and this street, and she was there, and some big lady jumped in her fucking car. And my daughter got scared and jumped out of the car and then yelled at her, whatever, called the police. Then the lady got out, and then she jumped back in the car. And then the lady jumped back in the car, and then she went out. Like, she repeated that cycle like 2 times. And then the lady, when the cops were on their way, the lady fucking ran away. And she described the lady as just like a big heavy-set lady. And I know because of the neighborhood where I was at, I mean, where this takes place, they don't want to say that she's black, but I bet you she was black. Otherwise, you know, you can just tell by the tone of the message. I'm not saying the lady's racist, but that's what it was, you know. Either way, I was like, let me just go into this thread. So she was just like, look, everybody beware. There's crazy people running around, right? And this is a little bit of a quiet part of town as far as that kind of stuff goes, to some degree. But I couldn't wait for everybody to start commenting. And I knew it was going to come. Somebody's going to be like, I think you're lying. I think what you're saying is bullshit. And I think you're just like basically painting this lady as some kind of fucking MAGA troll who is out here stirring the pot. And meanwhile, they're stirring the pot. Like, they could just keep scrolling. If the lady's fucking, if the lady is lying or not, it doesn't really even matter. You know, they don't have to get involved. And that's what I mean. There's so much of that garbage, you know, and people believe it, and it's on all sides of life. There's so much of that garbage, and there's so much judgment, and people can't wait to pick a side, to be like, okay, well, how am I going to look if I support this? How do, you know, blah, blah, blah. Listen, you know, everybody knows I don't trust the government, you know, which is why that I do the things that I do. I don't trust them on any level. They're fucking animals, you know. Elected officials, you know, unless it's on a local level, dude, they're all just out for themselves. The bureaucracies, you know, this guy, Biden, he just gave the State of the Union address. There's no way I would ever listen to one of those things because nobody's being honest. Nobody's being real. All they're doing is keep spinning this narrative that what you see on your screen in your pocket is what's really going on in real life. And none of that, maybe it's going on, but it's not all going on to you. And that's the thing. So if we didn't have social media and whatever, in the positive way, there's a lot of communities that we could find and we can be together, and that kind of shit, that's cool. But in a negative way, they just use it to like disseminate hatred. You know, that this lady that was talking about the thing with the kid, whatever, people were saying that she's bullshitting. Listen, I've been inside a Rite Aid that was on that same block, right? It's a big street in Brooklyn, 86th Street. I've been in this Rite Aid. And one time I was there and the police just left because some kids came in there and they did the stuff that you see online where they ransack the fucking aisles, they take shit and they walk out and steal. And I was like, wow, this really happened. And the police came in and they were already gone. And then I spoke with the people who worked there, and they're like, yeah, this happens like every day. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is this world coming to, you know? And then, you know, another time, you know, I was in there shopping, and it happened on the other side of the store. And I was like, what is, I hear like a crash or something, like somebody fell. Then I look, and the person was running out of the store. And I'm like, oh. I would have had to run all the way across. What am I going to run and tackle them? Whatever. The people who work there, they're like, listen, we're not allowed to really engage in them, So I don't know. Yeah, who knows what I would do if it was right in front of me, I don't know. I don't know. But it's real. It's really real. So, you have these people, who are running the country, and they get on television, they get on their soapbox, and they just sit there and they disseminate judgment and hatred, and they're the biggest slime balls on earth. Like politics is like Hollywood, but for people who are ugly. I think that's what it is. It's like a big soap opera. It's a big zero. It's a big fucking nothing. But then it actually affects us, some of the stuff that they do, whether it's legalizing weed, gay marriage, I don't know, gender studies, or what's the thing that they're trying to, I don't know, they're trying to not teach white kids that white people are bad. Whatever that is. Critical race theory. And we didn't learn any of that stuff. We just saw it. We saw good and bad people of all things. So I didn't have to have any preconceived notions outside of my experience. But then again, I grew up in a very, multicultural place. If I'm from freaking Iowa and the only black people I know are what I see on TV, it's easy to be very sheltered in all these echo chambers. But that's not the case. So whatever they try to disseminate, we need to just not really get down with it. We need to just understand what goes on in our real lives and where could we make a difference and how could we work together. That's why I love the polar bear thing that I'm doing, because it epitomizes that. Like today I did my 12th swim. So for 12 weeks out of the last 13 weeks, I've been going in that water. So next week they're going to vote to either make me a member or not. And there's no way I'm not getting in. I didn't really do anything to anybody. But, yeah, if you make it, they let you in. It's a beautiful place. It really is. It's a beautiful place. Whereas, if we just focus more on that, I don't even know if we could spread that. I don't even know if that type of stuff is lacking anywhere else, in real life. This thing, dude, there's now every day there's another report about them shooting down some other unidentified flying objects. Every day. Every day. There's been a few the last few days. It's all a big distraction. I'm like, bro, if the aliens are coming here, the UFOs, they're prepping us to go to war against our fellow man. That's what they're doing. They're like, oh, the Chinese did this and that and whatever. You can't even believe them. You can't even believe the government when they say that. And there's people that are they want to subscribe. They're like, no, this is America. This is Super Bowl Sunday. These are buffalo wings. These are fucking cheeseburgers. Those aren't fucking freedom fried. Those are French fried. Whatever that whole thing. There's people who just, they comply and they wave their flag when it's their narrative or their quote unquote team. Bro, we don't know. We honestly don't know. So I'm going to be like, hey, look, the same government that says, these are Chinese balloons and these are this, and we sent the F-44 or something to go and shoot it down. The fact that and any foreign flying object gets anywhere near our country, that's a fucking failure. We don't have a Navy, we don't have Air Force, we don't have anybody that will intercept any of this stuff out there over the water. You gotta wait for it to come here. This is what I mean. It logically doesn't make any sense. It's absolute 1 billion% failure, or it's 1 billion% bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, bro. You know, it's bullshit. What matters? You know, how we live our life matters. How we treat the people in our path matters, whether we love them or not. You know, I have a wedding coming. We're planning this wedding. And it's not that I refuse to get stressed out about it. I don't, you know, I just be like, listen, you know, it's all going to be okay. And even if it's not going to be okay, I'd rather just believe that it's all going to be okay, because it's a better way to spend my time. It's like when I believe in God, like, you know, God is taking care of me. Some people are like, well, how do you know? I'm like, well, how do you fucking don't know? I just know that it's a better investment of my time to believe that if I constantly do the right thing and I make choices based on certain principles that I hold dear to me, and that I have people in my life that hold me accountable to those principles, then I will have a very fruitful experience and a very beautiful existence. You know, I came a long way. Yeah, I came a long way, and I didn't do it on my own. You know, I didn't do it on my own. But I also, you know, have to pay a little bit of attention to who's got the bullhorn. And that's the beautiful thing about the internet. And that's the beautiful thing about Facebook. That's a beautiful thing about podcasts. Like anybody could make one of these shows. And then people listen. My boy Kurt, that he had, you know, he just restarted his show. And he's like sending me messages like, yo, I'm getting this many listeners and this many. I'm like, dude, man, if you help one person, that's enough. And if it's helping you, that's the main person that it needs to help is you. You know, because a lot of times I talk through some of these ideas with myself and it makes me a better human. And then I share these with other people, and then people see me or they message me and be like, bro, I heard what you were saying loud and clear. You know, we got to do good on this earth. And we got to just I'm not saying we don't have to have like a revolution against the government because they're fucking animal pigs. All of them. There's, oh my God, so few. The people in Congress, whatever, you know, so few that are actually doing the right thing. You know, it's crazy. They're too far removed from the source that they don't even know. Like when we were discussing with the polar bear, my boy Mike, the cop. You know, they're so far removed from the actual problems that they think they're doing things. They don't even fucking know what it's madness. But then again, they're over there getting big bucks and they're getting freaking pensions forever, which that definitely needs to go away. Healthcare forever. Like, how the fuck do they get pensions and healthcare forever? Like, it's crazy. There should be term limitations. Everybody's in there maybe 8 years, and I don't care how popular you are. You got to get the fuck out. And that's it. And then you got to get new people in there, and it's got to be like real performance-based shit. Like if you're just there and you're not doing anything, if people aren't really, and they're not really, they ain't going to work together, man. It's actually a big fucking charade. That's what it is. It's a big charade. And I don't believe that the system can change. I believe that people change, and then eventually we will evolve out of this stuff similar to now. You can't just run and drop kick the fucking quarterback, you know, where in my day, bro, that guy, you know, forget it. They would get spinal injuries from getting slapped up and demolished by fucking linebackers, you know. It's just what it was. Or a guard, you know, a defensive guard. Like, yeah, it's crazy, you know. But now it's like, you know, it's like you can't even touch the guy. So I just think the level of consciousness needs to evolve. And we just need to be more honest about who's in charge. You know, allegedly they're in charge of the whole show, but you're in charge of your own life. If these aliens that came that are allegedly being shot down now, there's like one every fucking day, right? If they're really, if they're here, then all of the things that you're fighting and crying about, none of it matters. None of it fucking matters. None of it. They could wipe us all out today, and I promise you, like, I'm not, the only regret that I have, if it happened at this very moment, is that my woman is not next to me, so I can give her a nice hug and kiss on the way out. We could hold hands, you know. Other than that, like, you know, I know the kind of life that I live. I just do. And because I know how fragile it is. You know, I almost lost my life many times. And we lost my sister. You know, so when you lose a sibling like that, man, it's almost like the separation is fucking crazy. There's no way to describe it. Then you get real perspective. I'm like, dude, what am I fighting about? What am I fighting? You know, what am I literally wasting my time? You know, literally wasting my time. You know, we need like more togetherness. I say that all the time. This is going to be a short one, so I'm going to tap out in a minute. But I wanted to play this thing because I thought it was great. And then you'll understand what I'm saying. That you cannot hold these, you can't hold the government to like any higher standard morally. You know, it's a very, it's a bad fucking thing. Here, let me find this thing. Stand by. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here we go.
And he said, Dad, guess which is it? Is it NBA or NFL? 36 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses. 3 have done time for assault. 71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL? Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, follow us on all podcast platforms, Spotify. Where else? Yeah, Spotify, Apple. That's the 2 major ones where everybody finds us, but we're everywhere. You know, send that shit around to your people. We're going to get some more guests on. I'm working with the team to, you know, maybe build this show a little bit more, even though it's really going great. I mean, great for me and great for us because we're doing it together. But there's more people we can reach and more people we can learn from and more people we can teach. All right, guys, peace. Okay, everybody, we'd like to thank you for joining us on The Spiritual Experience. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, everywhere. And please find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.